Welcome, everyone, to What to Watch Live, the show where we discuss the best in TV and entertainment this week. My name is David, and today I am joined by my fellow Xfinity editors, Quam and Maddie. Hello.
What's up?
Hello.
Hello. Thanks for being here, Maddie. Your second show. So excited you decided to come back.
Yeah, I wasn't scared away after the first one, so I'm back, planning to stay, but thanks for checking in.
Good, of course. It's May 1st. It's gonna be May. It's here. And thank you, everyone, for joining us and watching us out there on Xfinity platforms. Maybe you're watching us on the 24/7 What to Watch channel on Xumo Play. Thank you. We've got another great show. It is episode 79 in a series of what will surely go on for hundreds and hundreds. And on today's show, we will celebrate May the 4th with our definitive picks for the best Star Wars films of all time. Maddie predicts the winners of MTV Movie and TV Award categories that no longer exist. Quam will tell us about the TV series and movies you can enjoy for free this week with Anime Network and Xumo Play. We will be joined by our special guest, WWE superstar Rhea Ripley, and we will learn how to make a proper mint julep in preparation for this year's Kentucky Derby. So let's get things started without further ado with a journey to a galaxy far, far away in this week's edition of Appointment TV. This Thursday, May 4th, marks the annual celebration of all things Star Wars, better known as May the 4th Be With You. And here on What to Watch Live, we never miss the opportunity to celebrate a made-up holiday. So in celebration of the inevitable cable TV marathons and the entire Star Wars catalog, except for the holiday special, which is available on Disney+, we each controversially picked our favorite film of the Force-fueled saga, and I will kick things off. For me, this is an easy choice. There it is. Sure, The Empire Strikes Back is often considered the gold standard of Star Wars movies, but you can only experience the magic of Star Wars for the first time once. And that's what makes the 1977 original, aka Episode 4, A New Hope, the standout for me. Despite all of my nerdery, I was 15 years old the first time I watched a Star Wars movie, and I did it specifically to prepare for the 1999 prequel called Phantom Menace. It was a massive deal, and I just had to be a part of it. A family friend loaned me his VHS copies of the original trilogy, and I watched them all in 1 week while I was home sick from school. And as someone who grew up on the occasionally campy practical effects of the 1980s in movies like Gremlins and Neverending Story and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it never occurred to me that the special effects in the original Star Wars were low budget. It never occurred to me that the story and the acting was particularly cheesy. It just didn't. In fact, the whole movie and the whole aesthetic felt like a warm blanket, as if you were slipping into the intestines of a tauntaun. In subsequent years, I've come to appreciate the absolute absurdity of what George Lucas was doing with this outer space soap opera and the unlikelihood that it would ever become the phenomenon that it is today. And I actually have fun watching it now with that in mind, wondering just how ridiculous everyone feels running around in togas, swinging sticks in the desert. You could not have imagined this would ever be anything. So that is why A New Hope is my absolute favorite.
I respect that you chopped it up, David.
Yes.
I mean, it's a great choice. I mean, outside of Empire Strikes Back, I think everyone recognizes A New Hope as either the first or second, best Star Wars film. And yeah, it introduces us to this world of space wizards and just kicks off all the fun. And I remember when I first saw A New Hope and I saw, what's his name? Yoda for the first time.
What's his name?
No, that old guy. Yeah, Yoda. I saw him for the first time. And obviously, how old was I when I first saw Star Wars? I was probably like maybe 7 or 8. But this is obviously 2000 something. And I remember looking at this. I'm like, this doesn't look too real. But it still captivated me. And I could tell at a young age, it was much better than The Phantom Menace. So definitely a good choice.
Well, that's a great segue into Maddie's pick for her favorite Star Wars film, What do you got for us, Maddie?
Well, first of all, I like the personal touch aspect of like when you first saw that movie, because I'm going to include that in my description here. But I'm pulling from The Age of the Republic for my pick and going with episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. So I'm going to explain my love for this movie, like precursor, just like David, think of the scrolling text floating off into space. Okay, the year is 2005. I'm 10. My aunt and uncle are babysitting me and say, we're going to a movie. I'm like, sure, I don't really have a choice here. We pull up to Revenge of the Sith, rated PG-13, so like
You're
illegal.
Ooh.
Wow.
And whatever, I'm watching it, slowly developing a crush on Anakin Skywalker because he kind of looks like Justin Timberlake, who I also loved at the time. Yeah, I wasn't prepared or even like cognitively developed enough to watch my new crush get his whole body burned up, legs chopped off, in lava, only then to turn into Darth Vader, which was like the scariest thing I could probably think of at the time. Very upset, very troubling. Never watched another Star Wars movie again until literally last year, 17 years later. So I started the Star Wars journey pretty early, but I got a late start on the full journey. Finally, as a 27-year-old, I was ready to jump back into Star Wars, went in release order, starting with episode 4, all in anticipation to revisit episode 3 again, which felt like a fever dream when I was a kid. But yes, this movie still had the biggest impact on me out of all of the films. I think it has the best fight scene in the entire franchise when Obi-Wan and Anakin duke it out at the end in the lava. It's close though. I love the Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Darth Maul fight scene in Phantom Menace too. But it has romance, it has betrayal, it's got all-time quotable lines and the birth of the greatest movie villain ever. What else could you want? So in this debate, as Obi-Wan once said, I have the high ground.
Hey!
Oh, cheers.
I did my research. I studied.
And I love that scene because Obi-Wan essentially gives Anakin like Tyra Banks's "We were all rooting for you" speech. Like,
you were so right.
Like that's basically what it was. We were all rooting for you, and he's just still climbing up the lava. Really disappointing.
So true.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great one. It's also spawned several memes. That high ground thing is a meme. There is a meme of Anakin and Padma sitting in the field of flowers.
Oh, I don't know.
Wait, is that episode? That might be episode 2.
It might be episode 2. I don't know.
I know they memed out Anakin when he screams like, I hate you. Like
Yes.
He's screaming at his parents. Like I definitely was like screaming that out at my parents when I was like 10 years old after I watched that movie.
There's also a whole thing with when he kills all the younglings. Like there's a meme about that. So yeah, I recently watched, maybe it was Phantom Menace, and it is super cringy. I agree. Even when I saw it, I didn't think I minded it. And I didn't even think at the time that I minded Jar Jar Binks. But not only does he look so terrible, it's just, it's difficult to watch. But Revenge of the Sith is certainly an improvement and is the best of that trilogy.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely the palate cleanser for all three of those. Out of those 3 movies, the Revenge of the Sith easily just takes the cake for the best. And I don't know. I love moody Anakin. You know, he's pretty much like an emo child, and I don't know why I identified with it. I was never an emo child, but I was like, yeah, I want to be Anakin until like his legs got chopped off, and I was like, oh, never mind.
Wait, is this the movie that gave us the no?
Yes. At the very end.
It's full of memes. I mean, it's so relevant. You can use them as GIFs on Twitter. This is all why it's my favorite.
It's perfect. I love how you set the stage for young Maddie experiencing her big PG-13 film.
Yes.
So scandalous. Quam, I want you to bring us home.
Oh,
high bar set so far.
And I will hop over that bar leaps and bounds with episode 7, The Force Awakens. This is not the best film in the entire franchise. I still think that's, either the Empire Strikes Back or New Hope. But what The Force Awakens does, for at least me, I think for, a lot of Star Wars fans, it introduced us back into the world of Star Wars with just a fresh breath of air. It was a new take, but also a very familiar story where it pretty much was a new hope just for a whole new generation. And it was just so much fun. It was so much fun seeing a stormtrooper. And sorry, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen this movie yet. It's on Disney Plus if you want to go watch it right now. But yeah, it's so cool seeing a stormtrooper turn into a good guy, because you always wonder, like, who's under the mask? Is it like just a robot, or is it like just clones of the same person? And it's like, no, it's every person has like their own individual like personality and beliefs. And this guy's like, yo, bro, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm like, right on, bro. I wouldn't want to do that anymore either. And then it introduces what's her name? Not Leia. It's oh God, what's her name?
Rey.
Oh,
Rey.
Yeah.
Rey. Yeah. How can I forget her name? She's like the most important character of this new trilogy. Yes, Rey was awesome. And it was at a time where you still didn't know her background. And I personally loved that she could have just been anybody, just any old person, and the Force just so happened to be awakening in her. And it was just such a great story, such a great film, so many great just moments, and it's everything you really want in a blockbuster movie and just in a franchise movie. And I was so excited for what the trilogy was to hold going forward, just based off this movie. Now, was I misled? Possibly, maybe a little bit, but this film still does a lot for me, and it has a perfect balance of nostalgia with all the Easter eggs and the big reveals, and just its own it's still standing on its own 2 feet as just a good movie. So Force Awakens, one of my favorite Star Wars films of all time, and yeah, what are y'all thoughts?
Maddie?
Kwam, I agree. So when I watched this movie for the first time, probably like half a year ago at this point, I went in pretty much blind. So I didn't realize like Leia was going to be back, Han Solo was going to be back. And I was shocked that they got them to do the movie, because a lot of times you can't get those kinds of actors to come back and do this. So I was completely shocked, and I was blown away. But you're right. The stock kind of drops in this trilogy pretty quickly, in my opinion. So I definitely agree with you that this is certainly the top for this specific trilogy.
Yeah, this was a glimpse of what could have been the greatest trilogy in the whole franchise, and it's still a very excellent movie, even if we were very disappointed in the end, most people. But this is excellent. I mean, it's got, first of all, the casting is fantastic. Gwendolyn Christie, who most people I don't even think realize was Captain Phasma, yeah. Brad, what was her name? Phasma, I knew. She was from Game of Thrones, of course, and she had she was the giant stormtrooper with the cape. Like, she's awesome. Oscar Isaac was not the greatest character, but he was still good in it. The actor who plays Finn, whose name is now escaping me. I got too much in my head. Kylo Ren, John Boyega. Thanks, Brad. John Boyega is fantastic. And of course, Adam Driver, breaking free from the chains of girls to just be like one of the greatest Star Wars villains of all time. And that lightsaber battle in the snow amongst the trees is one of the best of the whole franchise. So I definitely think I interviewed Mark Hamill a week before they announced that this movie was going to be made. And I look back on that knowing that he knew he was going to make another Star Wars movie and did not tell me. And it just, obviously he was not ever going to tell me, and I was not going to get to break that. But we're talking about the franchise, and he just knows he's going to make another movie. I think it was really special to see Carrie and Harrison and Mark like reprise these roles, and Daisy Ridley, like, awesome.
Where has she been though? I feel like she is Rey and Rey only.
I know.
I need more of her.
Well, we got that Disney money. We got Star Wars money. You're like, okay, well, I gotta take a break now.
It's true. She's like Emma Watson after Harry Potter. Like, she doesn't have to do anything she wants to. She can go to Harvard and, like, I don't know, be a professor, like, just living off her millions and being smart.
That's what I'm going to do. That's the plan. That's my new business goal.
Well, you can check out our favorite Star Wars films and much more simply by saying what to watch into your Xfinity voice remote, or say Star Wars to explore an entire curated collection of the best Star Wars movies, series, and specials, except for the holiday special. Give us the holiday special, Disney. The people want it. The people want it. Maybe just me. I don't know.
You're the people, David.
I am a people, and I want the holiday special. All right. Next up, we reveal the sort of real winners of actually retired award categories in the latest edition of What to Watch This Week. The MTV Movie and TV Awards air live from Los Angeles this Sunday, May 7th at 8 p.m. Eastern on MTV. And sure, we could sit here and tell you which of this year's nominated actors, TV shows, and movies we think will take home the coveted golden popcorn trophies. But instead, our very own Xfinity Movies editor, Maddie, volunteered to pick winners in 5 retired categories that don't even exist anymore. And I am so excited about it. Maddie, I'm rolling out the red carpet for you. Who are the big winners?
Thank you, David. Thanks for the tee up there. I just wanted to point out that Drew Barrymore is hosting the MTV Movie and TV Awards this year, which is very exciting. But again, like David alluded to, this isn't the Oscars. There's no Best Cinematography or Best Adapted Screenplay awards being given out. We're talking unique categories like Best Villain, Best Hero, Best Kiss, and Best Fight. But I checked out the retired categories and ready to give out some of my own. So, okay, first up, starting a little tame here, favorite character. I mean, really anything could go here, but as you can see, I could take it a kid's angle. I could go superhero, but I'm thinking a little bit more legendary. Puss in Boots. Come on, who saw Puss in Boots: The Last Wish? It was really good. And not to continue to bring up another award show, but Oscar nominated. And now the recipient of my fake award for best character. I don't know if you guys saw this movie, but it was a great addition to the Shrek franchise. Any thoughts, or am I way off here?
No, you're spot on. I've not seen the new one, but I remember and recall being absolutely floored by the first Puss in Boots and how much I really enjoy it, because I do not like the Shrek movies. That's for another discussion.
That is a hot take.
I don't like Shrek. I just don't. I'm sorry. We're gonna.
Okay, yeah. And put that on his like little name tag, anti-Shrek.
But I do love Puss in Boots, and I thought the movie had a lot of the original, so much heart. It was very funny. I laughed out loud more than I think I typically laugh out loud at animated kids films. So fully supportive of this. It's a great character.
Interesting. Yeah. Go ahead, Quam.
Yeah, I was going to say I have not seen this movie or any of the Puss in Boots. I am very pro Shrek, and I only recognize Shrek. Thank you very much. But I did see the final fight in this, on Twitter. I was scrolling and I saw the end of the final fight between him and Puss, and I don't know the other character's name, the villain.
Yeah, he's like a big bad wolf kind of guy.
Yeah, he was like a big wolf. And I was like, yeah, that's my guy right there. And I was rooting for him. But he lost. So I was really disappointed. But the fight scene, though, the choreography seemed like it was amazing. And the visuals I thought were spectacular. And I guess I was rooting for the cat in the hat.
The cat in the hat.
It's Kitty Softpaws. Is that her name? Because she
I've never seen this movie, and he names the second in command. So she's in the first one, correct? Yeah. Yes, she reprises her role. But yeah, I thought Puss in Boots was great. I think it's much better than the first one. And it's a little dark at times. It's a little bit spooky. They deal with themes of death and loss, because he's at the last of his 9 lives. So certainly check it out if you haven't seen it yet, because he's my winner for best character. But moving on,
Puss in Boots.
Yeah, we'll send your trophy in the mail. Moving on to best cameo, a lot to choose from here. I could go Marvel, because you're basically guaranteed a surprise cameo in every movie at this point. But I am choosing Boban Marjanovic in Hustle. If you've seen Hustle, there were a ton of NBA players I could have chosen as my favorite cameo. But Boban is the king of the cameo. He also makes an appearance in John Wick 3 and was the victim of maybe my favorite kill in the John Wick franchise. If you haven't seen it, it's like in the top 15 minutes of the movie. He gets his neck snapped by John Wick over a book in a library. So Boban's NBA days might be fleeting, but Hollywood is calling his name. So he is my pick for favorite cameo in that movie and favorite cameo of the entire year.
This is great. This is a great pick because we all just need more Bobby in our life. Every time he's in a commercial and it's like a new commercial, I'm like, yes. I'm so supportive of Bobby. And he was I just love Bobby. I just love Bobby a lot because of Tobias Harris, and he's a Sixer, and so it's
They're
like
buds, yeah.
Bobby by association. But yes, great choice.
Tobias Harris is barely a Sixer, but
whoa! There will be no Tobias slander.
I didn't mean to bring this up.
A Hustle's a great movie. All I'll add is that it's well worth watching, and I appreciate the Adam Sandler renaissance because there was some hard times there in the middle, but he's coming back with some pretty solid projects. So happy to support this one.
Agreed. Okay, let's move on to the Lifetime Achievement Award. To be honest, I don't know why this was retired because it was awarded to some very honorable folks over the year, such as Jason Voorhees, Jackie Chan, Godzilla, and Chewbacca. So if I were giving out the award this year, I would award it to Ghostface of the Scream franchise. Ghostface continues to live on almost 30 years later, and many people have been donning the mask in that time. But Ghostface receives the Lifetime Achievement Award specifically because the Scream franchise has pumped out 2 movies in just a single calendar year. And in the most recent installment, Scream 6, Ghostface was more nimble and mobile than ever. David, I don't know if you agree with that. Just
Yes.
out athleticizing all of the rest of the victims. So for years and years of contribution to the horror genre, even though it's a different person or people under the mask all the time, congratulations to Ghostface on your Lifetime Achievement Award.
He was moving around like Boban was under the costume this time.
Whoa!
I'd argue
no
even
Boban slander either.
I'm not slandering. This is a really great pick, and honestly, the fact that MTV has not decided to do this is a real miss because it is the kind of thing that legitimately deserves a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah, and I like that they give it out to like legendary characters like Jason Voorhees. It's not just like actors we know and love. It's fun characters that we all remember.
Yeah, especially since this 6th one celebrates like all the versions of Ghostface, and like you see each mask and it ties back into each killer. Like prime for an achievement award. This is, all parody aside, this is a really good award.
Thank you, David.
I was going to say the same thing. This is an excellent award, excellent choice, and yes, Ghostface, you deserve this lifetime achievement award. Congratulations.
Okay, MTV. So if you're listening, let's roll this one back.
Come on.
Okay, moving on to Best Action Scene, another retired category. I think they really need to bring back because there's so many great options just from this past year. So much so that I couldn't choose just one for this award. It believe it or not, ended in a tie. I recounted the votes, still a tie. I'm awarding the Best Action Scene to 2 separate ambulance chase scenes. Ambulance and Cocaine Bear. No spoilers, but in the movie Ambulance, the characters, including Jake Gyllenhaal, are being chased by police while a surgery is being performed in the back of the vehicle. And in Cocaine Bear, the gang is being chased by, you guessed it, Black Bear, who has ingested a substantial amount of cocaine. If you have a weak stomach, both of these might be a little challenging for you. But in an era where action scenes are becoming a little bit more formulaic, these scenes bring a new life to the genre. So those are my picks for Best Action Scene.
Do you know that actual real life Cocaine Bear is in a mall in Lexington, Kentucky?
Stuffed?
The real life Cocaine Bear.
I thought you meant like live, like he was like
no,
hyped in the cage.
After all that cocaine, no way. This bear is stuffed, and he is in the middle of a mall in Kentucky, and he's got like a little plaque that says "This is Cocaine Bear," and they dress him up for events. It's like kind of sad. It's like really sad, but it's a real life thing. So anyway,
he just wanted to party.
He did. Oh my God. You spend one weekend with Charlie Sheen. These are very good picks. I have not seen Ambulance, but
it's really shockingly very good. And I'm not an it's very gratuitous, and I'm not a big action fan, but I really liked that one. Surprise favorite for me.
Perfect choice. Quam?
I haven't seen any of these movies, but I will take Maddie's word for it that these are awesome action scenes in an ambulance. So I can only imagine how crazy Cocaine Bear is. Like, I know the movie Ambulance, and I'd imagine that's like super action packed, but I could only imagine what a cocaine-filled bear chasing an ambulance could even entail. So I might have to check that one out.
Yeah, you got to check that one out, Quam. Okay, last one. I wanted to hit Best Dressed. I've been giving a lot of movie-related awards out. Yeah, actually, it's Quam and I. We matched. We got orange going on today. So thank you to us. No, I'm jumping over to TV for this one. This person has been rocking the same exact outfit for 44 seasons of their television show. And you might think, well, they need to freshen it up. No, wrong. Their wardrobe has become iconic because of the repetition. You guys got it by now? We're talking about Jeff Probst of Survivor. Well, there he is, donning the outfit in the artwork there. While Survivor changes season after season with new challenges, advantages, and castaways, there's one thing you can always depend on. Jeff Probst wearing a puka shell necklace. He has that. He has the cargo shorts, a cotton short sleeve button down, top button always unbuttoned, and a Survivor hat with a fresh pair of white sneakers, which somehow managed to stay clean even as he's running up and down the sand. It's a great Halloween costume if you're a fan of the show. I've been meaning to break it out for the past couple years, but haven't built up the pride to do so. So if you are a fan of the show, this look is timeless. So congrats to Jeff. I wish I could give this award to you every year if I could. And those are all the awards I'm handing out today. Like I said, we'll be shipping all of the trophies out to the respective winners. Quam, David, what do you think of the picks? Agree or disagree on any of these?
I agree on almost all of them, except for Best Dressed. It should have went to Kwame on What to Watch Live. That's me personally.
You came in second. You came in second.
I came in. No, it's okay.
Sure. I mean, Jeff wore the same outfit for 44 seasons. What is that, like 20 years? But Homer Simpson's been wearing the same outfit for like 30. White shirt, blue pants. I mean, it's a classic look, but
it's not even an outfit. That's like
it isn't even an outfit. He's
like
not
an NPC,
naked.
That's like an NPC outfit. You're just like when you're like playing a game. It's like, oh yeah, guy, white shirt, blue pants.
You know what? What's even more impressive about Jeff is you spend all that time out in the sun and you're still like aging gracefully. Like, why does he not look like a football?
He's got that. He knows the sunscreen game. He got his skincare routine up to par. Yeah, he's not just best dressed. He's just like best looking guy on TV at this point. So all love to Jeff Probst. Yeah,
it's actually a green screen. That's how his shoes never get dirty, or how he looks like he's aging. He's not really there.
It's all After Effects. Got it.
Exactly. Well, as Maddie mentioned, Drew Barrymore hosts this year's MTV Movie and TV Awards on MTV this Sunday, May 7th at 8 p.m. Just say what to watch into your voice remote to check out the show, or watch any of Maddie's award-winning picks. What an honor for these celebrities. I hope they cherish these trophies forever and ever. Next up, we're going to tell you about the TV shows and movies you can enjoy for free right now in the segment called Free This Week. Xfinity's Free This Week program continues with a free preview of Anime Network and more from Zumo Play to help celebrate Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And here to tell us more about it is our very own Quam. Quam, what do you got for us?
Thank you so much, David, and happy AAPI Heritage Month. Yes, I made that up. Is the better way to say it because it is really efficient. If you somehow have been out the loop, Free This Week is our weekly offer where we showcase premium networks, movies, and shows, all totally free of charge. And to kick off AAPI Heritage Month, we are featuring the Anime Network and Zumo Play. The Anime Network is your one-stop shop for all things anime. With a library full of shows, movies, there is something for the full spectrum of anime fans. Myself personally, I prefer action-packed animes, so I'm really looking forward to watching Assassin's Pride, which tells the story of a girl who must learn how to harness her power, considering the fact that she lives in a world overrun by werewolves and vampires. So definitely be necessary to, harness said power. Zumo Play also offers a range of movies and shows to help you celebrate AAPI Heritage Month. One in particular that I'm really excited for is Ip Man Legend. If you are a fan of martial art films, it's imperative that you watch Ip Man. And you can watch all these and so much more just by saying free this week into your Xfinity voice remotes. Maddie, David, are there any titles that you're excited for?
I will tell you this right now. I'm not an anime girl, but I've been a little bit intrigued just because I recently saw Creed 3, and I know Michael B. Jordan said that like the action scenes and the fighting scenes were inspired by anime. I also saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse for the first time, very late on that. And I know it's like a lot of comic book animation, but a lot of it seemed to be derived from anime. So I think I'm getting there. So I appreciate these recommendations, Kwam, because one of these might be the first one I check out.
You'd be surprised just how many just shows, movies, and just overall pop culture is inspired by anime. And you'll start getting references, when you start seeing certain things, you're like, oh, okay, this is definitely pulled from, name said anime.
It's so funny you all say this because I recently saw John Wick Chapter 4. That's the new one.
Yes, we're on 4 now.
Yeah, we're on 4. And a buddy of mine who I saw it with sent me a video from YouTube of the show Cowboy Bebop and was like, this scene from Cowboy Bebop looks exactly like the final sequences in John Wick Chapter 4. And he was right. Like, it was very, very similar. Whether it was inspired by that or not, I think he found it because there was some swirl on the internet about it. But it really made me think about the fact that I probably would enjoy a lot more of this. Like, I'm really into things like Hiro Miyazaki, the Spirited Away movies, and I'm going to butcher the rest of the Howl's Castle. Why can't I think of the name? Howl's Moving Castle? Anyway, love those. I just have never really gotten into anime other than that, but I think I would like it.
I think you would too. I mean, it's full of a deep, rich culture and just history, and depending on which era you're going to, or even which genre of anime, whether it's like action or more just comedy or whatever, there really is something for everybody. And just knowing you as the TV, film, movie, media lover extraordinaire, I'm sure you would find your own genre, and you can find it right now at the Anime Network. So go check it out.
It's a genre. Just say free or free this week in your remote to check it out. Thanks, Kwam. Next up, let's get ready to rumble with the Riptide Queen in an all-new edition of Hangouts. This Saturday, May 6th, World Wrestling Entertainment heads to San Juan, Puerto Rico for their next premium live event entitled WWE Backlash. I recently sat down with Australian-born WWE superstar Rhea Ripley for a new episode of Xfinity Hangouts, and here is a sneak peek at our conversation.
Which piece of advice would you say has shaped who Rhea Ripley is as a performer more than anything else?
It's hard to narrow down exactly what. I got a lot of advice from Scotty 2 Hottie when I was in NXT in the Performance Center. I went through a really hard time while I was down there, outside of work and inside of work. I just didn't feel like I was good enough. Everyone was pulling me in every direction, and I was at a stage where I just wanted to make everyone happy and please them and do what I was told. But Scotty could see that like the light inside of me was sort of dying in a way, and I was losing myself and who I was supposed to be. And he sort of just talked to me after every training and even in between trainings, and just give me little boosts of confidence and just try and get my spirits up. And it really did help a lot, because me and Raquel, we were the only 2 girls in Scotty's class. All the other girls were in Sarah Amoto's class. So we were in a group full of guys, and we sort of felt like outcasts in a way. But then we had someone as amazing as Scotty, who was sort of just like teaching us the ways of wrestling and just the ways of life as well. So yeah, everything that he said to me, I really held tight to my heart. He definitely helped me through a lot when I was over here.
I'll ask you one quick last question. I recently saw an interview with Cody Rhodes in which he talked about nearly getting a tattoo of the Legacy stable on his hand, but Kofi Kingston talked him out of it. As a tattoo enthusiast yourself, have you ever nearly gotten a tattoo you would have regretted?
Man, I have a lot of tattoos that I sort of regret. I remember when I was younger, because I watched WWE and I looked up to all the wrestlers. I wanted to get so many wrestling tattoos. Like, me being the dumb little kid that I was, I wanted to get a Pepsi logo. Yeah, you know why.
Yeah.
I wanted to get one on my finger, and I'm like, I'm so glad that I didn't, like, I wasn't old enough to get tattoos to begin with, but I'm so glad I didn't follow through with that one, because I don't even drink Pepsi. It was just because, you know, I loved him growing up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely one. And I remember I wanted to get, oh, it makes me feel so disgusted thinking about it now. But on my back, I wanted to get like a tattoo of like piercings going down the side of my back with ribbon, like a corset. And I wanted that so bad, and I'm so glad that I didn't get it, because it's just so gross to me now.
So the little tidbit of information that went unspoken between us during that exchange is that a very popular wrestler named CM Punk, who had a very highly publicized falling out with WWE in 2014, has a very prominent Pepsi logo tattoo on his shoulder. So CM Punk now works for WWE's rival company, AEW. So needless to say, it's a very good thing she did not also get a Pepsi tattoo and go through those plans.
I remember CM Punk, and now I'm not for that reason, but I'm kind of considering getting a Diet Coke tattoo, just because that is my soda of choice.
It is the superior soda, to be honest with you.
I didn't think that was the reason. I thought I was thinking for a completely different wrestler. So I'm kind of relieved to see CM Punk. Yeah.
What were you thinking?
A totally different wrestler. A totally different wrestler.
All right.
Yeah. So.
Well, you both have tattoos. Have either of you almost got a tattoo that you would have regretted?
Yes.
Please.
Surely, I think that I have, you see the temple logo behind me?
Yeah.
That's tattooed on me and on my foot.
Oh.
And I'm a big fan of Temple University, but I don't know if it should have ended up on my foot. But it's there now.
I can see why. I can see why you would regret that tattoo. I thankfully don't have any tattoos that I personally regret.
Did you almost get one?
No, I am like a very great decision maker.
I need you in my corner every time I plan to go get another one, Kwam.
I'm open for bookings. You know, I'm just I will consult you on all tattoo needs. Yeah, no, I'm happy for all my tattoos. Even tattoos that at first I was like, why did I get this? I've grown to love. I'm like, oh yeah, this is not that bad. I like this now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
David,
what about you, David?
Yeah, David, where are you going to get your tattoo?
I have no tattoos. I do not think of myself as the kind of person who can pull off a tattoo.
Whoa, no, everyone can pull off a tattoo.
I don't know. It would have to
We'll make a plan of it. We'll get David tattooed.
Yeah.
It has
Next
to be
episode.
the right thing. Yes, you're tattooed live on What to Watch Live. Yeah, one day I will. But Rhea is covered in them, and actually, she has a massive tattoo on her knee of Vegeta from Vegeta, yes, from Dragon Ball Z. Whatever, Vegeta.
Whoa! Don't disrespect the princess fans.
She has a massive tattoo on her knee of dedicated to that character, and she also dressed up in Dragon Ball Z ring gear one time when she came out. So massive fan. She's only 26 years old. She's won multiple championships in WWE. She's massively popular with fans, even when she's technically a bad guy or a heel. And I hope fans enjoy that. I hope fans enjoyed hearing about how Scotty 2 Hotty, who is a former WWE wrestler and fan favorite, circa 2000, he was paired up with Rikishi as a tag team called Too Cool, also with a wrestler named Brian Christopher, but he helped her develop her skills and gain her confidence in WWE's developmental system, NXT. She's super cool. And as I mentioned, WWE Backlash, I mentioned that at the top of the segment. This event is unique because it's actually the first time in more than 18 years that a WWE premium live event has taken place in Puerto Rico. And as if that wasn't already massive enough, the event will be hosted by massively popular rapper and singer Bad Bunny, who is not only a fan of professional wrestling, but competed in the ring at WrestleMania 37 in 2021. And he was amazing. Like,
What can't this guy do?
no joke. Like, he clearly put in the work. Not only was he just really great at what they call selling moves, acting like you're hurt, but he got on the top rope. He jumped off the top rope. He was punching dudes. Like, we have some photos here of him actually in action. I think he wrestled The Miz. He was in a tag team match at WrestleMania. The dude is just committed and really won over. There he is fighting The Miz. Really won over wrestling fans.
Did he have a different stage name, such as the Rabbit Rabbits?
No, he was also Bad Bunny here. There he is jumping up on Sheamus. Like,
I think he should go by the high flying hair.
oh God, are you making all of these?
I'm not making all of these. These are all from Brad. These are all Brad originals.
Brad's. We keep mentioning Brad, but have not mentioned that Brad is our producer. You know, whatever. People will learn over time. Yeah, Bad Bunny's awesome, and I know it's going to be a really exciting event for the people of Puerto Rico, because if you're a kid growing up there and have been a wrestling fan all your life, maybe you've never gotten a chance to watch these stars perform in person. So I always think about how cool it is for the kids when wrestling organizations visit different countries, that they finally get to see this. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, that's it for that's my wrestling corner for this week. Check out my full interview with Rhea Ripley right now by saying Hangouts into your voice remote, and don't miss WWE Backlash this Saturday, May 6th at 8 p.m. Eastern on Peacock. Just say Peacock or WWE to get started. Next up, and finally, get ready for the greatest 2 minutes in sports in this week's edition of Live Sports. This Saturday, May 6th, marks the 149th edition of the greatest 2 minutes in sports, aka the Kentucky Derby. And you can watch all of this year's action live from Churchill Downs on NBC and Peacock. Last year, our former What to Watch Live colleague Landon and I hopped a plane to Louisville for an inside look at this iconic event, and even made time for a mint julep demo with Woodford Reserve Master Distiller Elizabeth McCall. Let's take a quick look at our adventures.
Well, welcome back from the track. I hear that you've had a really good day and maybe you not so much.
No, I had a terrible day. I've lost all day.
Well, you know what, David? It's okay, because I've been winning all day, and I'd love to take those winnings and make one of these iconic mint juleps you guys have.
All right, let's do it. Here
This
and then
is
on
beautiful.
Oh,
Here we go. So there you have the $1,000 mint julep, or if you get a gold cup, $2,500.
So, a toast to our friends at Woodford Reserve, Steve Kornacki, Elizabeth, Chris, Andrew, Drew, and all the wonderful people we've met here in Louisville.
Cheers.
Cheers.
See you Saturday.
God, it was so natural. That jacket and that shirt are hanging in my closet, and I'll never wear them again unless I go back to the Kentucky Derby. I totally went off script, and now I don't even remember what I was going to say. I hope you were paying attention to that mint julep demo. Did you get all the steps?
I did not.
Yeah, I have a question though.
Yes.
So you drink them pre-race, correct? How many are you required to drink in the 2 minutes that the race is going on? Is that a race in itself?
It should be. The mint julep thing is really interesting. So let me tell you a little bit about the experience of going to Churchill Downs for the Kentucky Derby. First of all, it will be one of the highlights of my life. It was a fantastic experience. Some of the things that really stick out to me, first of all, is how massive Churchill Downs is. Like, it's super tall, like several stories high, which I never envisioned. When the horses were on the other side of the track, you couldn't even see them because of all the stuff in the infield, but also because they were just so far away. And I did not expect that. Also, Churchill Downs smells like an old church because it's old and it's wooden, and like it rained too every once in a while, so it was also damp. It's like a damp old church. Third, everyone is so nice. Like, that Southern hospitality is real. Everyone who worked there was so friendly, happy to have conversations with you, tell you how long they worked there, tell you about the famous people they met. And in many cases, these people have worked at Churchill Downs for decades. I met someone who worked there when they were a teenager, and now they are in their 60s and they still work there. Crazy. And they go through, to your question, Maddie, tons of bourbon. But not all the drinks are very good. Like, some stands give you pre-mixed mint julep in a bottle. It's just all of it is in there, and they just pour it over ice.
That's just wrong. That seems sacrilegious.
It is, but some of them, they hand mix it and do it with all the bits and pieces. But it depends on what level you are. So if you're on ground level, you're getting that pre-mix. You go up one level, you're getting a nicer drink. You get up into the big boxes, like, you don't have to go very far to get a better drink, but do not drink on the ground level because it's garbage.
It's for the commoners, is what you're saying?
It is.
They sort people by class, is what you're saying?
I mean, if you saw the kind of money that was rolling around this place, I literally saw a dude who was in a suit and it was covered in dollar signs. Like, it's wild. And speaking of which, I'm sure you noticed that Elizabeth McCall was wearing in our video one of those crazy hats. They're actually called fascinators, and it is a tradition of the Kentucky Derby. And I met many, many people who make their own fascinators or like ordered like tailor-made fascinators to specifically wear to the Derby. It's wild. And speaking of Elizabeth, she sort of mentioned it, but you may have noticed the fancy gold and silver mint julep cups we were holding. Each year, Woodford Reserve sells a limited edition $2,500 mint julep in gold cups and $1,000 mint julep in a silver cup. And proceeds do benefit Old Friends Farm, which is for retired racehorses, so it does go to a good cause. But the cups are so coveted that Elizabeth and master distiller Chris Morris had to bring their own personal cups for use in the demo because they just are so scarce.
Wow.
So the one thing that stands out to me is, man, people have a lot of money and they love the Kentucky Derby. But you don't have to have money. That's the cool thing. It's like you can just go and there's like races all week. It's not just one running. They have a race called the Oaks, which is the day before, which is like the second biggest race. And then there's tons of races in between. I didn't win a single thing. I bet and lost over and over again. But that's the way it goes. It was fun. Really cool experience.
It was a good year, right? There was a crazy ending to the Kentucky Derby last year, right?
It was like one of the biggest long shots of all time won.
Right.
And I obviously did not bet on him, but is that it? Any other Kentucky Derby questions?
Did you see Drake?
I did not see Drake. But man, the people who work there love telling you about who sat in their section, and they will tell you about, like, someone was telling me about, because I think the presidents and royal family often visit, and they would run through who they liked, who they didn't like, who was a jerk, who was kind. Like, they will spill all the tea. So just find one of those very seasoned veterans in the stands, and they were all
spilling the mint juleps.
They really were.
Cool.
I appreciate it, Quam. Thanks for playing along.
Yes. No, it was good. It was good.
Don't miss the Kentucky Derby live from Churchill Downs this Saturday, May 6th on NBC and Peacock. The Derby itself begins at 6:24 p.m. Eastern Time. Very specific. So get there early because it's only 2 minutes long and you might miss it. Just say Kentucky Derby into your voice remote. And that's it for today's show. May 1st. Check the box. We're done. Thank you to my fellow Xfinity editors, Quam and Maddie, for joining me this week. Special thanks to WWE superstar Rhea Ripley for joining us. WWE Backlash is live on Peacock Saturday, May 6th, after the Kentucky Derby. So you can still see both. Shout out to our producers, Brad, Aaron, Josh, Adela, and everyone else behind the scenes for making it run smoothly. If you want to check out TV shows and movies we talked about today, get more of our entertainment recommendations, or watch us interview big celebrities. Maddie's going to start interviewing celebrities for Hangouts, and it's going to be awesome. Just say what to watch into your voice remote, or tune in here every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern for a new episode. You can even watch us on Zumo Play 24/7 on the Xfinity What to Watch channel. My name is David. That was a lot. Thank you for joining us on What to Watch Live.